What's up YouTube? I'm Josh Newland. In this video I'm going to share with you 3 of my biggest tips to become a better center back by analyzing my own game footage. Alright, so I would use clips from the pros and stuff like that, but to be honest, I don't have to deal with copyright and all that stuff, and it's just easier to use my own footage. Plus I know you guys like my game analysis videos, so this is a different kind of style of game analysis. So by no means am I saying I'm the ideal center back at all. I'm probably going to try and throw in some not so good clips or bad examples as well. I'm going to be pulling from a bunch of clips from this year and last year's games. My biggest tips are being able to win the ball in the air, especially when someone else is challenging you. I know that's pretty much common sense, but I also want to explain a little bit further. Second is being comfortable on the ball as a center back. Arguably, you have the most pressure on you than pretty much any other position on the field when you're on the ball to not mess up with what you do. You have a lot less room to be creative, and you've got to be smart, and you can't give it up. Third is to be proactive. That includes defense, but also when you're on the ball, making forward passes, being forward thinking, and defensively, trying to stop the counterattack and making smart decisions so that you don't even put yourself in a bad position from the start. So first, being able to win the ball in the air. This is one of the biggest attributes that all good center backs have. There's also a reason most professional center backs are 6 foot plus. It's just really important to, whenever crosses come in, to be that commanding presence, to be able to head it out of the box. And also on offense, on corner kicks, how many center backs that can go up and score goals, score headed goals. It's really valuable to be able to do that on both ends of the field. And of course, it's important to be able to go up against other people and win the ball in the air, be physical. Ideally, when you're clearing a header, when you're on defense, you want that ball to be up and out of danger. You don't want to head it right back down, but you also want to be aware in situations where it's not so risky and there's teammates around. And this is part of just being aware. Is there a teammate, a midfielder that I trust? I can head the ball to them. They can bring it down and get the play going forward. On offense, it's pretty much the opposite. A lot of times you want to head the ball down, obviously to get on frame, but bouncing headers can be really hard to save too. It's just a really important skill to learn, to work on. That's always been one of my biggest strengths. And then this season, there was a stretch I had where for whatever reason, I don't know what it was, I wasn't the best at heading for a while. And it's something I realized I got to keep working on and not just assume that I'm always going to be the best at winning the ball in the air. So this is kind of tricky to work on by yourself, but there's different drills you can do. You juggle it up and head it and work on generating that power and force through the ball. And you can also do it with just simply having a partner cross it into you, and you finish on goal, and then you can also practice the other way around of clearing it away from goal. So number 2, being comfortable on the ball. Of course, this is important. Any position, if you're a footballer at all, you have to be comfortable on the ball. You got to be good on the ball. But especially at center back, I think out of all the positions on the field, you have some of the most pressure put on you to not mess up. And I don't just mean that like, pressure as forwards, sprinting straight at you and pressing you, but just in general, you're the last line of defense, and if you mess up, then you're probably going to be in big trouble. So you got to build up that comfort on the ball, being able to scan the field, find a pass. As a center back, most of the time you're not going to be able to be creative to try and take people on, skill moves into that, save that for the wingers. You just got to find a simple pass, try and find your forward's feet or your winger. If you can, switch the field, and if not, turn around, play to your keeper. In worst case scenario, just kick it out. But you got to be comfortable with the ball at your feet. You got to be aware of where your teammates are, of where the opposition is coming from, where they're pressing you from. And you just got to build up that trust in yourself that I'll make the right decision, I'll have good touches, and that just comes from the off season, getting lots and lots of touches in. You can work on specific drills for this, having someone run at you and press you while you're trying to find a pass and get a good touch and pick your head up and all that. So it's vitally important to be comfortable on the ball as a center back. Third and finally is being proactive. And like I said, there's 2 sides of this. Defensively proactive and then also on offense. So being proactive defensively You know, I think one of the best ways to do this is preventing counterattacks. Van Dijk is really good at being proactive defensively. You know, of course, you want to make sure you have cover, but again, a lot of this comes in trusting yourself, trusting you can make a good tackle, and I always prefer to pressure and go in for a tackle. As long as you know the risk involved, you know there's cover, then you should be pressing them. You should be making them make the tough decision instead of the other way around. So being proactive defensively, you got to be communicating with your teammates, especially with your other center backs, with your fullbacks, and you should also be expecting your keeper to let you know if you can step or not, and you know, your other guys in your back line to be letting you know when to step or not. Being proactive also means not slacking off, you know, following a guy, staying on his back when the ball is played into him, not letting him turn around on you. And you'd much rather go in for a tackle, even if you foul them at half field, instead of, you know, waiting, and especially if you have cover, just waiting, letting them dribble at you, and then all of a sudden you're in a 1v1 20 yards away from goal. It's always much better. Try and go in for that tackle, and make sure if you don't get the ball, you get the man, because you do not want to miss a tackle and let them get around you. But again, you shouldn't be going in for risky tackles if you don't have cover. So be proactive, try to stop those counterattacks, try to press first and go in for a tackle and things like that. But again, do it in a safe manner. As far as offensively, this is looking for passes to your forward, trying to find their feet. And a lot of my highlights, you know, that's what I try to do. Even when I clear it, even if I don't pick my head up, I kind of just naturally clear it out to where the forward normally would be. Try to put it into their feet, because that just jump starts the attack. You skip through midfield, you know, especially at lower levels when you try to play it out of the back. You know, it doesn't take too long for someone to make a mistake that will be costly. So you want to find that highest guy. You don't want to force the long ball every time, especially not long balls in the air over the top or switching it. But a lot of times, just try and find their feet, play them on the ground. If not, look for a winger, look for a center mid you trust. You can play to your fullback, and you can always turn around and play it to your keeper. But just like in any position, your first look, you want to be forward. You should already be aware before you get the ball, and when you do, be proactive in that way. Try to help out in the attack. Don't do too much, but you can make a difference offensively. Those are my 3 biggest tips. Obviously, I have quite a few more to share with y'all. I will do that in the future. I'll try to make more game analysis videos like this. But those are some of the 3 biggest ones to me, things I want to be good at, things I try and work on and improve on. And especially those 3, if you can nail those down, you know, it'll be a lot easier progressing, going to higher levels, because, you know, at first when you're younger and lower levels, it's just, you know, can he defend? You know, okay, he can defend better than most, so throw him back there. At higher levels, it gets much more specific. They get a lot more picky, and you need to be a good overall player, not just a good center back. You need to be good on the ball. You need to have good passes, good touches, and be a player that all your teammates, all your coaches can rely on. Center back is a very demanding position. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Be sure to comment down below whatever tips you have for center backs. If you want me to make game analysis videos more like this, where I kind of pick apart a different position or different skills you need to have, let me know that below. I will also try and make some, you know, just going through a full game again. But thank you for all the support. I'll see you next Saturday.